Oh yeah, I needed to do something with the audio. I wonder if I can even do that still. I can't. Okay, I should split up the audio tracks, and then I should be able to use MKV Toolnix to be able to fix that. That's the idea. Alrighty. Oh, so the big thing I'm curious about is my encoder settings are actually a completely separate thing from the game itself.
Presented by Kane.
Not the game, from the recording settings. Right, your streaming settings and recording settings are completely different. And the recording settings are pretty high. So I'm wondering if there's going to end up being like a hit on that. But it might just literally be like a data thing or something like that, and I'm just like overthinking this. Alright, let's do this and then post this here. The beginning section there, I'm starting to feel kind of loose with it in a way that's kind of funny. A lot of those like, there's a lot of those copters that'll come from the right side where you can like put like one good burst on them basically, and because the bullets have some travel time, you're able to actually kind of like preemptively leave it there. It's really sick. And then we chain back into these, bop bop, a little late. Aha! We've been getting kind of consistent in picking up those two bees there, but unfortunately I'm not really able to find a route just yet to be able to chain that into the stuff up here. And then right here, we just kind of like take this tank back here, and then that loops us into this bee. We just kind of take our time killing this stuff, chain in the turret into the tank, slide down here. Those tanks kind of like kill themselves, and then we just go over here, slide, kill this. I think I did that early, actually. Those things double it back, but there's like this weird gap in where they spawn. And getting the bees actually ends up like being a way for you to be able to keep that chain going, which is goofy. Because they really don't give you that much, that much of the combo meter. I gotta be careful. That was almost bad. With this pattern, I've found that the blue shots are aimed at you. And so because they're aimed at you, you just need to like do tiny little taps. It's the same thing here, but like it's not as obvious with the other pattern that like that's something you can do. There's a little dance I like to do actually, because you can manipulate the shots if you're like right here and then you're just kind of like doing this little like tiny U thing. It's really goofy. There's certain other sections too where you're able to like really just chain an absurd amount of bullets coming in your direction that way. It's pretty cool. Whoop. So in this part, one thing I've noticed is that the only time this section really gets kind of difficult is when I feel like I need to like keep a chain going. Because if you misdirect these shots here and then just point blank, like that tank leaves some pretty open lanes for you. And so a lot of times I was just kind of getting myself killed there. Similarly, like this building, it kind of has HP, but like you want to hit it early. And then if you come back and hit it again later, it just like dies instantly. And then that way you can clear out the rest of the screen. And then that thing is a bitch to like keep a laser on the entire time. So that's another place where I've been trying to let my chain break and just not fight it for now. So we lucked out and still got 2 hypers before, and then we're on track to get our 5th hyper just before going into this lane, and this is super ideal for us. This is actually the kind of run both up into and like through stage 2 that you want. The big thing to look out for is that these Hornets are going to have a big score multiplier because my combo is really high. And my combo is extra high because I saved up that level 5 hyper. The higher the hyper level is, the more it seems to affect the hit count. So like hitting an enemy is just worth more hits when you have high hyper. And then up here is this little scoring trick where if we follow these... Oop, didn't quite get it, but that was the right idea. If we had lasered a little bit earlier, we would have uncovered that beat. And then we would have kept that whole 1,000 some hit chain on 2Bs at the very end into a 2x multiplier. So like it's really good scoring incentive to learn that trick, and it's not that risky. Mandatory hyper there. The higher you're able to ride that one out, the higher your hit count is going to the next stage, and that's kind of like the secondary like layer of trying to score here. And then up here is a misdirection. We barely made that one in time. If we scoot back now, we just got a lot of point blank damage for free that way. And then I didn't like that pattern, so we're just gonna bomb. Ideally, you'd want to see like 30 million out of that stage, I feel. Like 30 million plus, I think. Because that gets you your last life up around stage 4. And I think the earlier in, like, kind of the better for now, just with how I'm learning. We're doing this one, I'm not even being mindful of Hornets on this right now, because I found that on stage 3 in particular, the middle section murders me if I end up trying to do that. And then here it's not so bad, but like sometimes like I get sidetracked really hardcore if I end up looking for the bees. There's a lot of stuff to move through and I just haven't routed it out. But like that one's not so bad if I'm gonna laser, right? Like, well, this pattern, we were not on it enough. Alright, so we point blank here. Woo! I've never seen that happen. So I think because I point blanked there, I killed the first phase so quick because I was on a relatively high hyper count at that point. And that caused it to shortcut into phase 2. I was too good at point blanking. we keep that lane. That's a really safe way to clear out that ship, that ship. Oh, I should have stayed there. That was a little misplay on my end. And then that one takes forever and a half to kill, but this one you can use shot on. Same with this one, same with this one. What? What even hit me? It's bullshit. Over here. So that was an example of a Ustream cutback. I got lucky there. By moving in that particular way, I juked the bullet patterns in a way where it created a good gap for me to dodge through. And then I'm able to repeat the process on the other side. Whoop! I got lucky there. The section's got a pattern to it, but like, only kind of. There's like some details to it that change every time in a way where it's like actually kind of important to be aware of how. We're nice and on that right now. What? Bullshit. I had that dodge. On this section, you kind of want to like fade backwards through the loop until you see a gap, and then you just press up. And it's like a rhythmic kind of thing. It's actually a really like relaxing kind of dodge to do. It feels really good when you do it. The thing that makes it complicated are those cheese grater motherfuckers that are coming down. Because they add a bunch of patterns there, it's not like something that's evenly spaced or timed or something like that. And that's like the thing that can throw a wrench in that pattern. That's usually where I have to bomb that last pattern. So I just kind of like plan for one being there. I think I kind of like rely on bombs on, let's see, on every boss after the first one in this game. I have a strategy involving bombing on every single one of them. Although ideally, it's one on stage 2, one on stage 3, and then one on stage 4. It's like on stage 3, it's the last pattern because it's hard. On stage 2, it's part of a cheese if you get hyper level 2. Going into that, which is something that happens if you hit the full scoring chain. And then you need a bomb in order to make the cheese safe. And then on stage 4, I use it to finish off that boss in the last pattern because dodging that is hairy and my nerves are usually too tense by that point in time. And then the point of even going with the ship and doll combination that I have is that out of all of the doll selections that you have in this, you have Shadia, Leinyan, and Exi. And the trade-off on every single one of these is bomb quantity. Exi only starts with 1 bomb and only has a maximum pull of 2. Leinyan I think is like 2 and then 3. Shadia starts with 3 and goes to 6. So this is kind of like what gets all of the decision making in the run and like why I want to do one thing versus the other or whatever, right? I want to be able to score enough where I'm able to get every single free 1-up that the game will give you. If I can help it, I want to be able to get all those 1-ups, because if I then die without being killed mid-hyper, then I'm able to turn that into every life having 6 bombs, basically, right? And so you start with 3 lives, you start at 3 bombs, so it's 3, 4, and 5 bombs, right? And then there's 2 extend 1-ups that you can get. And then 1 like stage hazard / hidden kind of 1-up that you gotta do like a little bit of a trick sequence to be able to unlock. So that's 3 extra 1-ups you can get, and every single one of those ones that you end up unlocking, if you play the rest of the game really clean, is worth 6 bombs each. So the idea for me roughly is, can I get to stage 5 with 18 bombs? Because if I do that and I use them, I'm pretty confident that I'm able to be able to win.
Watch out! Watch out!
You can see some little variations though this time. Like I dropped the combo at the very beginning, so I got my hyper a lot later, and so I decided to not just push the beginning combo as hard for score, and I just kind of like picked up the bees, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna like play it really safe and just like get this to stage 2 basically. We'll settle it there. The majority of the early game scoring tricks and decisions that go into that really do kind of revolve around just getting 5 hypers into that 1 second half of stage 2 as well. And like just as like a beginner that's like trying to like go through this casually, I think it's like worth actually learning this for a game like that's this difficult. Plus it feels really good when you pull it off. I mean like, okay, you'll see when we get there again. Like fuck, the aesthetics behind Hyper are so timeless. It's like the pinnacle of shmup design. What if this airplane could shoot a laser that's like 50 times its body size? Wouldn't that be fucking sick? So we're damaging it early in, but it won't die just yet. We come over here, we clear this shit out, we come back here, kill that big one, snipe this, and then we can swipe back. And it's pretty reliable. Nice, we managed to cut back that time. If you snipe that one tank on the left side that's kind of buried back there, it makes it a lot easier to juke that pattern in a way where you can like keep the laser on that turret. That's our last power-up, assuming we don't die. We're gonna die. That spot right there is actually something that I've found out by accident. There's actually, you can manipulate this mini-boss pretty reliably, actually with certain like positions. And so I'm usually trying to aim my ship so that when it has hyper standby as the text on the bottom, I kind of want my ship to be like not even touching the Y, right? I want it to be like between like the bars, between like the player 1 and player 2 bomb stock things, and the Y, so like right here. If you do that, I've noticed that the pattern there is really still actually. Oh, too early. Yeah, okay. Couldn't quite get it there because we mistimed getting the laser on this thing, so we were a little late in the rest of the motions. There's probably a more reliable way to go through that. Anywho, because we at least got the one extra thing, this time we have a hyper going into this boss, so if we want to, we can elect to do that. But we're on a pretty... I usually just save it for a pattern like that that's hard to read. Whoop. That was scary. Fairly late. Better to die in a situation like that where you're not hypering. I took a big gamble on that one. That pays off one of the bombs in my head. 25 mil. So that's making me feel like I'm gonna want to be a little more conscious about scoring on the stage. So I've been working on light scoring routes here. But the problem is because we died, I can't really do a lot, a lot of them. And you never really need to do them if you've never died. Your points just kind of like climb up well enough where it's not even really a consideration that you have to make. The big thing is that like killing these circular things in the ground that like clutter the screen with so many bullets relative to everything else, it's fastest right now if I kill it with the shot. Because I'm Shadia, and if I die, my laser goes back down to the lowest like attack value. So like barring certain enemies like this where like it still is more effective to like hit them with the laser, like you usually want to be using the sped shot to kill everything you can. And so if it's slower to kill, that means I have to take more risk, like it's trying to dodge the rain, so to speak, right? Which you don't want to do that when you're playing these games. Oh. I faked myself out there. It's very sad, very sad. Power up! Esoteric game knowledge, go! Ah, fuck me! That's okay, we're waking up from the burrito. Oh, YouTube is recommending something. I think YouTube can bite me. They were saying I should cut my video upload on this to 750 kilobits per second. And like, okay, the video resolution is very tiny on this because this is a very old game and I want to have all of that bitrate because this game's gonna artifact like a motherfucker otherwise. 750 kilobytes per second, or kilobits per second, my ass. Ah, unfortunate. I tried to get a little fancy there. If I had managed to pick up that hyper and then like bomb on the same frame, or not bomb, but like, you know, use the hyper instead of bombing. Right there, I would have been able to keep my chain going. Because using hyper refills your combo meter, actually. So that's one of the subtle ways you can buy yourself more time when you get to these sections where it's a little more enemy light. Ooh. Not a lot of luck with comboing. On today's runs, we're gonna have to really like finesse some stuff. So the strategy in this boss in particular, you see like the red pod on the left is flashing right now. If I were to kill that while these pods are spinning, both pods drop a hyper, as opposed to if I kill it when they're not spinning around. This boss like that, they only drop one. So basically, you want to get it to a low HP value, and then kill it while it's spinning. The reason I don't pop it earlier, and I'm doing this whole like song and dance in order to do this, is because if I were to have destroyed it earlier, you see there's like an enrage that the boss ends up getting into, and it's low HP and it doesn't have its sidecars. So if I do it like that, you blank the screen from bullets for a little bit when you destroy the side pods, and that lets you collect 2 hypers pretty easily and bypass the enrage section at the end of that boss. I think most of the people that like chain through here and score attack runs, if I remember correctly, I'm a little bit like forgetful on the specifics, but I'm pretty sure a lot of them on this stage don't do the bringing 5 hypers to this part. Usually they end up trying to do something like 3-ish hypers or something like that. And at earlier parts in this stage, they'll actually use hypers in order to make comboing a lot easier too. So that's part of why I don't sweat. Like that earlier section, I'm very confident involves like having a hyper to smooth things over normally. So it's like just not a thing that I can really like control. I have finessed it pretty far, but no more really than like about 130 hits. Right here. If I do this, there's almost always a good lane to go through vertically. The juke patterns at the beginning are mostly so that I get the first couple of bees revealed so that I can swipe at them from the side like this and pick them up as late as possible. You can actually pick them up pretty late into it. You saw I was picking that one that was like literally off screen. So you can do that to milk it for hits as much as you possibly can. And then this one. Almost. We're getting better at that. We would have had 30 mil had we hit the trick there. And coming out of this stage, like from this boss fight and everything, like you can get 30 mil going into this. So like this is a really decent scoring run as well, which is good. We want it to be strong going into the later stages if we can help it. Ooh, okay. That's about as late as you want to exit on that. So one nice thing about hypering through that boss and bombing like that is that I end up getting a lot of hits actually for doing that. And all of those hits end up getting converted into points in this section as well. It's pretty good conversion actually. Like, it's not as good as doing, like, the bees, but, like, you see that was still, like, several million. It's like, get your points and kill the boss faster and dodge less? Woo! That just is, like, win-win-win. Let's go here. That section can be a little hairier than I like. This here. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. that was so close! Gotta tuck the ship into bed. Instead, we go up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, back. Did you see that little stint where I went into the bullets there as opposed to the laser? That's because this is actually the slowest ship in the game. It's a little bit faster than it is in White Label, which is good. It's like horrendous. It's like absurdly slow there, actually. Like, it feels wrong that it's that slow in that game. But in this game, this is the slowest ship, and actually that does affect your ability to like take on certain patterns, especially as you get to higher and higher hyper levels. So when you use more hypers and you don't bomb or you don't die in between them, literally just more bullets can spawn, or bullets will move at a faster speed. And if you take the hyper into the bosses specifically, it's like drastically like exaggerated how much that effect ends up like coming into play. We should be able to cheese these pretty well. Nice. We're probably gonna bomb one more time up ahead. Normally I would hyper here. There's a motion that I'm not super used to yet that's really useful in situations like those. I off-screened a wall of bullets there, by the way, that would have killed me had I not done that. That's another, like, thing you gotta consider sometimes when you're playing this. There's so many little details that go into this game, actually. It's kind of absurd. Nice try. Oh! I wasn't sure about that one. This boss is just fucking a slut for my bobs. Whoop! Ah, fuck! See, I should've just bombed there. Like, I don't know why I'm like being so prideful about this. What is done is done. There's 4 Bs at the beginning of this section, and I don't really need to score attack this technically to get this life, but I want to get it a little bit earlier if I can help it. Although I'm not really doing a good job of shading right though. We're barely surviving. There's one more wave down there, but flanked it. Those bullets blend in with the hyper. Alright, I can do mine carts on hyper speed. Chest burster, shishaw. Over here, here, cancel these tanks out, go up here, platform, Wait, oh, fuck! What's that? Here. Back this way. Boop. I swear to God, sometimes I feel like I bomb early enough and then the game's like, no. Those are the most frustrating.
Presented by Cave.
I always love that opening in particular because you don't really have to like worry about dodging anything. Aha! Fancy! I think I'm just plucking that like too slow. A lot of the stuff in the early levels is pretty like directed, so like if you like know like a tiny little bit about like how to like misdirect or like navigate around that stuff, anticipating that, like you can do some pretty funny looking dodges in this stage. No! I need to walk my laser down with that. Wait, so I need to play like back. Ew.
Watch out! Watch out!
Well, that was much better than 2 million that time. Ever since I tried out Daifukatsu that one day, I just kind of wish I had like some of the boss fight music from that in this game. Is this what it's like to end up playing these games long term? You just kind of wish for one OST and another. Because I mean, like, once you got like the shmup and rhythm game OSTs, there's nowhere else to go, right? That's it. That's music. Boop, 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 boop. Oh yeah. Haha! So if you're trying to score this first section without hyper, the one thing I have noticed is that learning how to handle extreme those big guys seems to be really important, because it's really easy to kill too fast, especially when you get to this section, and I haven't really found a reliable way to get that Hornet where I feel safe yet with a combo, but like, you know, there's like 100 some hits there. Worth of meter that you could take advantage of. Oh, I guess I never said that yet, during this stream, and I don't know if I've explained this bit to you, but the higher your hit count is when you hit a B, not only do you end up getting a lot more points, that part's pretty clearly displayed, but also on the right side of my gauge on like the top left, you'll see there's like a pink bar that's slowly filling up and kind of turning white. That is the hyper gauge. That's kind of your progress towards getting the next hyper to fall down, and the hypers are those little metal looking items. One's drifting down right now, you see. When I pick that up, it gets added to my hyper stockpile, and then whenever I use it, that ends up affecting the strength of them. Run for it. More hypers generally means more damage, lasts a little bit longer, it affects the hyper ranking more severely, so it makes the gameplay like a little bit faster as a result. So close.
Watch out! Watch out!
But there's a lot to be aware of with that kind of a thing. And so one thing that you'll hear get brought up a lot with daioujou in particular is people talk about hyper routing. And it's literally just like, when are you intending to like fuck with that mechanic? And how, right? Usually with scoring, it's like, you want to push that as much as you can, because hypering allows you to get really really dummy fat combos and stuff like that. Between the chaining on the stage with the bees, which is the really big one, and to a lesser extent the hit counts on the boss, in order to be able to like just min-max your score. Well, hit count, and there's that one boss that like you can choose to turn one hyper into 5. Which I know enough to survive that. I know what you're trying to do with that, but I do not feel confident about going for that in a run. Shreddy are really just like sitting here in the shooty plane being like, come on. You think I have to move for you? I will blanket the screen. Good. We pulled back that time because the last time I already died there. See? We're learning. Up. Turning up, turning up. Here. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Scoot, scoot, scoot. Scoot, scoot. Skirt! Skirt, skirt. Out here. Aha! Fuck. In space, no one can hear you, daioujou. Let's go. Oh, that's miserable. Okay, let's see what we can do. That was a weird speed for that to be. Was I just holding a diagonal? That must have been it. We're at the tail end of my coffee. Aw, I thought that would work. So the rule for chain gain in this is when you kill something and it explodes as a result of you killing it, the gauge ends up filling up all the way to the top. Otherwise, there's a couple of different rules on how it ends up filling up. Hornets only really give tiny little or bees, sorry, they only give a tiny little bit of gauge each. I think it's 25%. I think that lasering keeps you at 25%, but then when you kill those big dudes, it doesn't really raise it that much, right? It's only a little bit. So usually in order to be able to keep the gauge high, you need to sustain during slow times on big enemies with a laser, because the gauge doesn't run down all the way that way. And then you need to find ways of being able to bridge that laser a lot of times into popcorn, and then find ways to kill them with the shot. But ideally you're doing it in a way where you're putting yourself at next to no risk, but also killing them as slowly as possible. There's a lot going on there. It's a really cool tension to have to walk. I might have over damaged the left pod, so we might have to deal with Enrage early. I'm gonna see if I can super extra avoid hitting it. That is also unfortunate. Alright. We will work with this. So losing the life there kind of sucks, but it's not the worst thing in the world, because it doesn't throw us that far off of our hyper routing. Right? We really just want to be able to get 5 hypers, ideally by the time we're in scoring lane, but 4 is okay if that's all you can get. And so this is where learning some light scoring here might be handy for me though, because that could more consistently get me to 5 hypers if I failed stage 1 somehow. Because one thing I'm really trying to emphasize with this is not being excessive with resetting. That's unfortunate, but we will let it go. So hypering early here means that we're only going to be able to get one hyper at most between this chain, the B. You can see I've already got one stockpiled from this combo. And the mid boss. I'm only likely to get one. I might be able to get two. If I get two, that really actually affects the hit count in a good way for me. So I might actually want to wait to be able to hyper again. And there's little things you can do still to preserve the chain here without hyper. I wasn't feeling confident dodging that though. Misinput. That's how you're supposed to get that slide. I'm gonna do the cheese even though I've only got one hyper. Aww. That is the perfect run to try something like that on. Yes! Okay, fair enough, yeah. Sleep, every time I do that fade, I always think of that one stupid meme where it's like meow. Ah, I did it too early. There's gotta be a way to count that out. I believe in my ability to count to numbers up to 5. I think that's when I run out of beans, right? Let's go. Bop. Oh, fuck! Why did I do it that way? Feels bad. I mean, what you gonna do, right? Boop boop. Boop boop. I wonder how many people would watch me play a shmup and then like trust me to drive them somewhere sometimes. Like, does this, watching this make you more or less likely to like trust getting into a moving car with me? Like a massive just hunk of metal. I'm totally good for it. Damn! Murder, murder, murder. Kill, kill, kill. Oh, oh, oh. So I got the one up. There. Hey! Haha! Good stuff. We're gonna do the lazy cheese. Which is you wait until this thing starts squirting out the nipple shots. These, and then you hyper. No! Not the easy cheese! There's the point light. I'm not scared, you're scared. I'm not scared, you're scared. Oh god, what if the chipmunks sang this song? It's just like parallel parking, you know? Shmup players in 5 lanes of traffic. We are the problem. Next time someone's blazing past me on the highway going like 100 bajillion miles per hour. Being at like the mid laser levels like that is such a terrifying thing during the stage. We need to hit things like that on these runs, I think, where we're on lower bomb counts. If we're on target, I think it's kind of okay to be a little more liberal with the bomb use. This isn't the worst possible run. We're still at max bombs, and we got 2 more 1-ups coming. Whoa! That was cheap. I jumped out of my chair for that one. I was Mario Kart drifting so hard. Timing. Bomb. I wasn't feeling confident about that. Another little detail about the hitbox of your ship and... Whoa, that's a cool score. Someone screen capped that. One of the cool things about... or details of your hitbox for your ship is that it's taller vertically than it is, like, wide. And so like when you're dodging things, the gap that you're going through actually kind of matters because of that. It's easier to take on vertical patterns, and that's actually one of the reasons that I like scooch into certain spots here than it is to like dodge through ones we gotta go left, right. So with the left-right ones, you usually want to find the more obvious gaps, and depending on how much of a nut job you are, you're able to go through tinier gaps, you know, but... Ah, fuck! That's unfortunate. Okay. But we're still breathing. Theoretically, with what I was practicing before, I should be able to 2-bomb Koryu. If I play that fight really well. So if I have to, I can always try to just fudge it out and get there bleeding and limping. If I do that, there's still a chance I can win.
Presented by King.
That's probably the coolest fucking thing about like taking on a game this hard. I put the hot and shot. Whoa! That was close. Woohoo! Ah, fuck me. Another little detail about a lot of the bullets, especially in stage 1, but just in general in this game, is that a lot of bullets that are aimed at you will never go really faster than like your ship's ability to move, right? Or if they do, it's that they only barely outspeed you, or that like, you know, you're usually barely outspeeding them or whatever. You can buy yourself a lot of time to dodge things just by drifting backwards and just kind of observing the situation. And sometimes like you just want to do that anyways because the thing you're looking to do involves waiting for a pattern to shift up. So you see those little blue walls get aimed at you and you just kind of like keep on tapping. Unfortunately, I'm not good at aiming that and dodging that in a way where I'm like able to always avoid hitting the one side pod, but you know, it's like I said before, if you get to the scoring alley with 4 hypers instead of 5, like you just use it. It's gonna be pretty close anyways. And for our purposes, they're like just as good. I guess I could cut through on that, and then back here, and then up, and then cut back here, and then how do you get that hornet? I'd have to reveal that earlier. It hasn't set me up for here at all, and that's the hard part. So missing a hornet for me hurts the most in stage 1. By picking up all 10 hornets in a stage, you end up making it so that in the next stage you end up having a bigger multiplier on the hornets. So in stage 1, every hornet is the hit count times 1000. If you get all 10 hornets on stage 1, on stage 2, then it's the hit count times 2000, right? And this keeps going on for every single level. So if you pick up every single hornet, then like the value of the hornets go way, way, way up. We only really care about getting them on stage 1 because we only really care about setting up for a good scoring alley. Like that's our whole strategy. Oh, I was a little too far to the left that time, and I was on the Y. Anytime I'm on the Y, I end up like getting a really coin flippy pattern. It worked out that time though. So we're gonna wait just a tiny little bit, grab this hyper up here, milk that building, and we should be back in business. So we did well enough because of that we were able to get R1 up. That's a hard one. I think I'm gonna hyper the second half of the boss. There's a pretty safe place to put it. I want to do it to get the hit count a little bit higher, in order to get, like, just, because I don't need a lot, but just a few more million. Fuck. No! Oh, there goes that. Alright, backup plan. Don't die. That's okay. That was a mean little wall. Doobie doo, doobie doo, doo doo. Doobie doo. Me too. What did they mean when they called that dog Doobie? Alright. Bing, bing. Okay, so when the hyper rank goes up though, that dynamic with the bullets where you're fading away from them changes a lot. I cannot believe I saw that line. Holy moly. So in those situations, you just need to learn how to dodge. Don't ask me how I did that. Those bullets have no hitbox. That's funny. Ah! That's embarrassing. To be frank. Aha! What if every time those enemies shot out like giant fucking waves of shit, just like boom, they just like had them do like the storm sound effect for her doing jumping heavy punch? Just as a full-throated ha! No! I feel like it would be appropriate. Bing, bing, bing. Ooh, I didn't score high enough. We're expecting more from you, little Missy. Hi, I get it. Let's go. Come on. That's depressing. Okay, but that fadeaway is risky. Oh, fuck.
Watch out! Watch out!
I think the X2 bonus with these only works if you don't die as well. So it's a pretty steep thing to be able to do it. You're basically kind of saying that you're gonna be able to get through those like levels without dying reliably. And like, I can barely guarantee that in stage 1. It's like one of those 95% success rate guarantees or some bullshit like that instead of like 100. Ooh, I should be able to just hammer shot there and chain everything perfectly. Actually, the game should be made easier specifically just for me. Everyone else can deal with it. Learning to accept good enough and like letting go of like lines in this is so fucking hard. Sometimes I clench on to things. I'm like, no, I have to keep aiming on this thing. That's scoring sickness. I don't even have a route to score. It's kind of like goofy to try to, you know? I was almost in danger. Bop. Snaps your neck, ooh. Nothing personnel. Helicopter. Good, good, good. Good, 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 good. Do good things. Don't do bad things. Oh, fuck, that's gonna... Yep. Oh, it's all over the place now. When you actually have to dodge, it's over. Whoop. You never want to have to dodge in these games. But you're inevitably forced to eventually. I think I had a fucking brain fart back there. God. See, if I was playing on the other ship, I'd be able to just do that. But because this ship is slow, like that combo is a little more finicky. Oh. I've considered going back to Shadia A. Sometimes for reasons like that. But B is kind of closer to the style of ship I'm much more comfortable with. I like those like turtle slow kind of like ships where you just really gotta fucking finesse your way through things. Yes, I play Milia Rage. Yes, I use Linux. Yes, it's a live distro like Arch. What of it? God, does playing this make me a bit of a fucking cyber hipster? I'm gonna have to atone for my sins and like fucking install Valorant or some shit after this. It's funny, my eyeballs will literally see just like dead little zones that you need to like move through sometimes. The way it zeroes in on them just feels really funny. It's like tickles my brain. Right, it's that, and then the building, and then this, then it clears, then we go here. I got it out of order! Aha, we got the cheese. More cheddar than a Midwesterner. Oh fuck. Okay, so we carried that hyper into here. I think it's only a level 1 hyper though. The bullets are gonna be pretty fast, but I'm gonna try to dodge as much as I can. Right here though is... yeah, I'm bombing that. I'm not fucking around with that. But that gets my hit counter up a little bit more. Some of those, if you get behind them, are like really hard to like coast through. Because normally you can just diagonal dodge. And if you're entering in on them at certain speeds, it just kind of like handles the dodging for you. That's unfortunate. I was not aware enough. That was irresponsible of me. That was also irresponsible of me. I got lucky. That was a misinput on my end. I was just trying to go up. Oh, your killer instinct jumped in. It told you it was time to swerve. True. God, the stage has such a banger fucking song. Good. 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 When it's good. Oh! Blah. I'm blaming getting old. That's what I'm doing. Thank you for watching.